The electrified Ioniq has been in Hyundai's portfolio since 2017. We've seen it as a plug-in hybrid, a regular hybrid, and a full electric vehicle. But now the nameplate is getting a little bit bigger with the Ioniq 5. This is a compact crossover. It's all electric. It's got about 300 miles of range, and it's got some funky, awesome looks. Now overall, the Ioniq 5 is about the same size as the new Hyundai Tucson, except that the wheelbase is way longer. I'm talking like Hyundai Palisade 3-row SUV longer. So what that means is you've got these really short overhangs, and that serves to help highlight these incredibly cool 20-inch wheels. Check it out, it's like a wheel within a wheel. And I love the fact that they're aerodynamic and they've got a little bit of a funky design to them. I think that other EV manufacturers can take note. You can be aerodynamic, but also have a little bit of fun. The Ioniq 5 is full of sharp angles and really straight lines. Normally that's not my bag, but here I really like it. It gives it a futuristic look, but it's still really accessible to just normal everyday people. And Hyundai is going out of its way to do some really cool lighting. I'm talking Tron lighting. Check out these headlamps. This cool pixelated thing that we got going on here, that's echoed in the back and across the front of the grille here. This light, it's actually hidden when the car is off. It only comes on when the car is turned on. I just love it so much. Now, when you add in a clamshell hood and a flush door handles, I mean, this thing's got some character like nothing else you've seen on the road. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, shall we? When the Ioniq 5 is available this fall, we're gonna get it with a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery. And in rear-wheel drive, that's gonna get you about 300 miles of range. Or you can slap a motor on the front and give yourself an all-wheel drive vehicle, but your range is going to suffer about 269 miles. So what we've got here is an 800-volt electrical system, which means that you can charge on a super fast charger. I'm talking 250 kilowatts. And if you can find one of those, you can go from 10 to 80% of a charge in just about 18 minutes, which is really fast. Now think of it another way. That's enough to go from like San Francisco to Napa and back again and just bump charge for like 5 minutes. But like I alluded to, those fast chargers are a little difficult to find, so you're still gonna have to plan ahead. Of course, you can also charge on the older 400-volt system, which is pretty common with 150 kilowatt chargers. Now that will give you 10 to 80% in about 25 minutes and about 42 miles in 5 minutes. I mean, it's not quite as fast, but it's still pretty quick. Now at home, you can do a level 2 charger with 10.9 kilowatts, which is going to give you a 100% full take in about 7 hours. Now, I know you're thinking like, well, why 7 hours? Well, first of all, it takes a longer time to go from that 80 to 100%. And also, you're asleep. What do you care? Go back to bed. All right, what is under the hood? Well, there's a teeny tiny little space to store some things. I mean, not a lot, but I could put like a small bag in there. And as for power, the rear-wheel drive version has got a 160 kilowatt motor, pushing out 225 horses and 258 pound-feet of torque. Add the all-wheel drive 74 kilowatt motor, and you're looking at a net power output of 320 ponies and 446 pound-feet of torque. Now, I haven't had a chance to drive the Ioniq 5, but Hyundai says that it is capable of one-pedal driving. So that means you lift your foot off the throttle and the vehicle will come to a stop. But it's like a game, right? Like, will it stop before I hit the car in front of me? Will it? Will it? Well, Hyundai has kind of made that a little bit easier with the smart regen technology, which incorporates radar. So it's gonna stop before you hit the car in front of you. I mean, it might not be quite as fun, but it's probably a little bit safer. And what about the inside? I mean, I really like it, and partially that's because it's full of sustainable materials. I mean, recycled plastic bottle for the armrest? Check. Carpet made out of extracts from sugarcane? Check. It's even got bean oil paint. I don't even know what bean oil is, but check, check, checkity check. I'm really digging this dual screen setup, and this is the first vehicle that I've ever seen that has a magnetic dashboard. I mean, as someone who like organizes her life with little slips of paper all over the place, this is genius. So I've got a flat floor here, which means that this center console can move back and forth by about 5.5 inches, which is really cool. But I do want to talk about this steering wheel. So first of all, the shifter is down here, which seems a little bit awkward. I don't know, again, I haven't driven it. Looks a little strange. I do like that I've got the drive modes right here, right under my thumb, but it's just a 2-spoke steering wheel and it kind of like curves downward and I feel like it's judging me like, oh, Hall, That sweater with that blouse, it's kind of the only quibble that I have with an otherwise really sophisticated and minimalist interior. So what's to become of the current Ioniq, that little hatchback as you like it? Well, Hyundai says that it doesn't have any plans to make a next generation. Instead, we'll have this, the Ioniq 5. We'll have an Ioniq 6, which will be a premium sedan, and then we'll have a mid-size SUV for the Ioniq 7. Now, as for pricing, well, we're not going to find that out until we get closer to launch in the fall. But we do know that Hyundai is going to partner with Electrify America that has those super fast chargers, which is going to be pretty darn sweet. We also know that the competition, the Ford Mach-E, that starts in the low 40s, and the Volkswagen ID4 starts at right around $40,000. Now, we all know that Hyundai likes to provide a lot of value in their vehicles, and they have a tendency to undercut the competition by a couple grand. So I expect the Ioniq 5 to be very competitive indeed.